Using Ahrefs to uncover B2B lead opportunities. Why Ahrefs belongs in your sales stack, not just marketing. If your team only uses Ahrefs for keyword research and backlink spot checks, you're missing a reliable stream of sales intelligence. In 2025, B2B buying still begins in search. 71% of buyers start with a Google query, and 85% of decision-makers trust organic results more than paid ads. That means the SERP is a real-time map of who's investing, who's growing, and which problems your market is actively trying to solve. For SDRs and sales leaders, that matters because organic visibility is a proxy for intent and internal priority. When an account is publishing in your category, earning rankings, and gaining links, they're not just doing marketing, they're allocating budget and headcount toward a go-to-market motion that your solution can accelerate. At SalesHive, we treat Ahrefs as a front-end signal engine for Outbound. It helps us decide who should be on the list, why they're on it, and what specific angle will resonate on the first touch. Done right, the tool turns generic prospecting into insight-led conversations across cold email, LinkedIn outreach, and even a high-performing cold calling team. How SEO signals translate to pipeline and prioritization. SEO data isn't vanity traffic when you interpret it through a sales lens. Organic search drives roughly 44.6% of revenue across B2B and other major sectors, which is exactly why leadership teams invest in content, technical performance, and authority building. When you see an account winning in organic, you're often seeing evidence of an active growth strategy. Rank position also indicates demand capture. The number one organic Google result averages about 39.8% click-through rate, while the top three results capture roughly 68 to 69% of clicks. If your prospects are ranking in those spots for commercial queries, they're likely sitting on meaningful inbound volume. If they're not, they're likely losing it to competitors and feeling that pain in targets, CAC, or pipeline efficiency. This is where many outbound programs break. They prioritize accounts by firmographics alone, then wonder why reply rates underperform. A better approach is to layer fit with signals, so your outbound sales agency motion focuses on accounts that both match your ICP and show clear evidence of an active buying journey. Align sales and marketing on a weekly Ahrefs prospecting rhythm. You don't need every SDR living inside Ahrefs all day. What works is a simple operating cadence. Give your SDR manager and at least one senior rep access. Run a 60-minute working session with marketing and agree on 2 or 3 Ahrefs workflows the team will own weekly. Most teams get real lift when SDRs source 10 to 20 Ahrefs qualified accounts per week and use those insights to personalize outreach. Part of the reason Ahrefs is so powerful is the scale of its dataset. It indexes about 35 trillion external backlinks and nearly 29 billion keywords across 217+ locations. For sales, that means you can consistently find companies publishing in your niche, identify who's gaining visibility, and spot where competitors are stealing demand, without needing enterprise intent tooling. The biggest mistake we see is treating Ahrefs metrics like SEO trivia instead of business signals. SDRs don't need to be technical SEOs. They need a cheat sheet that translates rankings, traffic trends, and keyword gaps into revenue language. Where you're winning, where you're leaking, and what initiative is likely happening internally right now. Workflow number 1. Use Content Explorer to build intent-rich account lists. Content Explorer is the fastest way to flip prospecting from companies by category to companies with proven intent. Instead of searching your product name, start with problem and outcome phrases your buyers use when they're researching. Cost reduction, compliance, automation, consolidation, or benchmarks. This avoids a common mistake: building a list of peers who sell what you sell, rather than a list of accounts who need what you sell. Once you export domains, enrich them with firmographics and route only ICP-fit accounts into your CRM as a distinct Ahrefs sourced segment. This is how we avoid the list quality trap that kills outbound performance. You start with demonstrated topical intent, then refine for fit instead of blasting a broad list and hoping personalization saves it. From there, pull the right contacts with your data provider or sales navigator and assign accounts into territories like any other prospecting source. The difference is that your cold email agency motion now targets companies that are already investing in the problem space, which gives your SDRs a credible reason to reach out and a clear angle for a first-touch message. When you lead with a prospect's real search footprint, you stop interrupting and start sounding like you understand what their market is demanding from them. Workflow number 2. Use Site Explorer to qualify accounts and focus your best effort. After discovery, Site Explorer is how you decide who gets priority. Look for 3 things SDRs can interpret quickly: organic traffic trend, growth versus decline; top pages, blog versus product versus comparison; and paid search activity, budget and urgency. The common mistake is chasing big traffic without context. A smaller site ranking for high-intent keywords can be a better lead than a large site earning traffic from broad informational queries. To operationalize this, add a few lightweight fields in your CRM: organic traffic range, domain rating, and keyword gap size. Then build views that bubble up the top accounts each week. This is also where sales outsourcing can help. An outsourced sales team can consistently run the research, apply scoring, and deliver a prioritized queue to your internal AEs. Turn Ahrefs insights into cold email and cold calling talk tracks. Personalization works when it's grounded in something the prospect actually cares about, not when it's a gimmick. Advanced personalization can lift reply rates by about 2.4x, from 7% to 17%, which is exactly why Ahrefs is so useful. It gives SDRs concrete, verifiable observations about content priorities, competitive positioning, and demand capture. The trick is to translate SEO signals into business language that fits your offer. Instead of "your DR is low," you can say, "Competitors are capturing high-intent searches in your category, and we typically help teams turn that demand into qualified pipeline faster." That framing works whether you're running B2B cold calling services, a cold email agency program, or a combined outbound sales agency motion, because it centers on revenue outcomes rather than marketing diagnostics. Build a shared library of plug-and-play lines your reps can reuse in emails and call openers. One for "you're winning and should scale," one for "you're slipping and should recover," and one for "a competitor is outranking you on money keywords." This is a common gap we see across cold calling companies. Reps improvise messaging from scratch, which creates inconsistency and makes coaching harder across a growing SDR agency team. Workflow number 3. Use alerts and keyword gaps for trigger-based outreach. Ahrefs alerts can turn outbound from scheduled touches into timed touches. Configure alerts for competitor domains, priority keywords, and link growth on target accounts. Then treat new rankings, new pages, and sudden link spikes as trigger events. Reaching out within 24 to 48 hours of a visible push, like a new comparison page or a fresh cluster of content, often lands better because the initiative is top of mind internally. Keyword and content gap research also gives SDRs an unusually specific reason to engage. If the top 3 results capture roughly 68 to 69% of clicks, then losing a single page 1 spot can meaningfully change inbound volume. When you can point to a specific competitor winning that visibility and the theme they're winning on, your email and call feel like insight, not interruption. A common mistake is letting alerts become noise. Keep it tight. A small list of competitors and a short list of commercial themes that map to your ICP. Then route the best triggers into your CRM as tasks. This signal-to-action bridge is where many telemarketing and telesales motions fall apart, because activity is tracked, but insights aren't converted into better targeting or better conversations. Operationalize Ahrefs prospecting and know when to outsource. Ahrefs doesn't replace your data provider. It's the intelligence layer above it. You still need enrichment and contact sourcing, but you'll start with higher quality domains, which matters because 49% of cold email campaigns fail primarily due to poor list quality. If you want to know whether this is working, track Ahrefs sourced accounts as their own segment and compare reply rates, meetings, and pipeline per account versus your standard lists. You can also use Ahrefs itself as a targeting clue. More than 11,688 plus companies have been identified as Ahrefs users, often in the 10 to 50 employee range, which overlaps with the ICP many SaaS and service firms pursue. When a prospect already invests in SEO tooling, they're typically more receptive to conversations about growth, demand capture, and competitive positioning. Use that as a tiebreaker signal, not your only filter. If you don't have the bandwidth to build the full system in-house, this is a smart place to consider sales outsourcing. At SalesHive, we combine Ahrefs-driven research with list building, Emod-powered personalization, and disciplined execution across email, LinkedIn, and cold call services, so your team gets consistent output without relying on heroics from a few reps. Whether you're looking to hire SDRs internally or partner with a B2B sales agency, the goal is the same. Make intent signals actionable, repeatable, and measurable.